What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Sitting here texting somebody real quick. Not really into them. My bad, y'all. My bad. I got. And there we go. All right. So what's going on, party people? Oh man. What's going on with y'all? It is Friday. Hit the like button. Come on, y'all. What's going on, Caprinas? Oh man. Oh man. My notification went out. Yep. All right, cool. Notification went out. Oh man. So what's been going on, Cap? I mean, you heard what I said. This month was busy, or last month was busy. 107 altogether. Um, like 60 the last, 59. I think 59 for the last part of the month, and 40 something for the first part. I had the numbers up here. Yeah, 48 for the first 15 days of the month, and 59 for the last. And man, what? Oh snap! You trying to catch up with me? You trying to catch up? And gotta keep. Now see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! Oh man. Oh man. Sorry about this. My man Misael, he's texting me, so I need to respond to him. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. That's good. 9 in one day. That is amazing. That is truly amazing. 102 for the month for my man Caprinas. Come on now, y'all. And y'all thought, and I thought the business was dead. Oops, I'm sorry. Yep, I've been on longer than 2 minutes. I thought the business was not active. I thought it was broke down, disgusted, and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-mm-mm. Oh man, y'all got to give me. I'm still decompressing because I've been ripping and running all day today, and oh man, it's been wild. It's been wild. It's been really wild. Um, there's just so much. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I just got to do one thing, and I'm not gonna try to rush myself, but I do need to get this thing popping. Let's see here. Hold on one second, because I gotta. Come on, there we go. All right. So, all right. So what we got? What? Yeah, worn out. I'm serious. I'm worn out. Um. Oh man, I'm worn out. I'm worn out. People think trying to go full time in this business, is easy. And see, you say, well, that's why I will start a signing company. Doing a signing company may not be the thing either. I'm telling you, signing company may not be the thing either, because yeah, 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 they trying to take over. They're trying, because I got an email from somebody. I think it was Sign Here Inc. saying, I guess signing order went down. So everybody need to switch over to them, and talking about putting the LSS certificate. That's the part I don't like. I don't like that part. And I still feel that they need to come out and clarify that. Why is that so important? Why is saying that I'm LSS certified so important? What does that have to do for somebody who got 7 years in the business, over 4,000 closings, doing 100 a month? What does that have to do with saying that I'm a qualified notary? What does that? It doesn't. It means nothing because I've accomplished what I've accomplished without it. And in my opinion, anybody who has that certification, basically they're supposed to be getting paid at least 150. And that means the signing companies that are on that platform should be paying 150. If you're not paying 150, then what's the point? You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like the price structure is going to change. That's the question. Is the pricing structure going to change to where we're going to be getting this magical $150? If we are, then great. If we're not, then what's the big deal about having somebody's certification on our profile? That's my question. That's the part that I don't understand. Right. And that right there, and see, that right there goes against the Sherman Antitrust Act, in my opinion, because now you're trying to pigeonhole and force people to do something, and you're trying to remove competition. Because me being a notary has nothing to do with that person's certification. Nothing. Because if his certification isn't about teaching me how to be a notary, it's all about explaining documents, and we legally can't explain documents, then what the heck purpose does the certification serve? And that's a legit, real question. And you're absolutely right, Fingerprint Guru. It's a gimmick to buy that person's product. And that right there to me, is a form of collusion. You're trying to go against and trying to tell everybody to come over here. And if, because I'm like, okay, how are y'all going to market us? And you're already marketing me in a negative light by putting that banner up there by my name saying that I'm not that certified, that I'm not certified with LSS. And I don't think that's right. I really don't. And I think that's very biased. Now, you can have it to where, like Signing Order has it, that you can put it up there, and you got Carol Ray and all these other certifications. You can have it as a thing to say, hey, you are, but it should not just be by default by my name indicating what I'm not. And that right there is very biased. And I don't think that's fair. So if I'm going to get that certification, then I want 150 a pop. Minimum. And if you can't get me 150 a pop, then what's the point of me being, you see what I'm saying? What's the point? If you, the signing company, don't have the ability to get me 150. I'm looking to exit the internet and get, yeah, I don't blame you, because now see, if anybody talk about notaries banding together, this is where notaries should come together from the standpoint of making sure that we're treated fair and that there's no conglomerate for as a signing service. And see, it still doesn't make sense, because a lot of these courses out here teach us to do what? Go direct. But then the people who are teaching us to go direct is then turning around and starting signing companies or starting platforms where signing companies come. I thought we were supposed to be direct. I thought that's where all the big money is. You see what I'm saying? So something ain't right about that. I'm telling y'all, something's not right. The way this is rolling out, I haven't really looked, but to me, the owners need to come out and have a question and answer. They need to allow us to ask them some deep questions, and the questions need to be, why do we have to promote that? Why do we have to promote that? Why is it important? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And see, there's a lot of companies, not everybody's going to switch over to that. Now, hopefully signing order has gone down, but maybe a little bit more recently. But overall, the downtime with it is very minimal. Very, very minimal, so it's a money-making thing for them. Everybody who wants to switch over, it's some kind of money-making thing, because, and again, this is where the collusion, you got to read the Sherman Antitrust Act. You really have to take time out and read it. If everybody who's switching over constantly are telling you, or in an indirect way about getting LSS certified, again, why is that so important? Because I'm not LSS certified, so you've been using me without it. You see what I'm saying? Or do we create our own? We can create our own. I'll be honest with you, you're gonna have some little sneaky folk in there that's going to try to sabotage it. I'm not saying that we don't, but we have to be mindful that you're going to have these agents that's going to come in because they don't want. And I'm telling you, and what they're trying to do is have everything for notary run through that group of people. They want everything to run through that group of people, and that is collusion. That is restricting. That is prohibiting proper competition. Because if I don't need a certain certification, I shouldn't be forced to have that. And you should not be doing anything to demean me to other people who would otherwise select me because you're promoting some kind of certification. And because I don't have it, you're making it seem like it's a negative that I don't have it. And that's wrong. That right there is discrimination, point blank. And oh, okay, this is somebody calling to. Okay, gotcha. So that's my thought on this. Now, thank y'all for hitting the like button. Please hit the like button, because if you don't hit the like button, YouTube don't like to share stuff out. I'm serious. Hit the like button and throw some comments in there. Feel free to ask your questions, because the more interaction, the more YouTube will push the notifications out and everything. I think there's another organization called the American Association for Notaries or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I think there's another one out there, but I don't know how many there are. You know who has not gone down? SnapDocs. Yeah, SnapDocs hasn't gone down, and so many people talk negative about SnapDocs. And SnapDocs has been popping for me. You know, hold up. Notary Association. Yeah, hold on. Let me show y'all real quick. I'm glad you share screen. All right. And add the stage. So this one here, called American Association of Notaries. Yeah, this is one here. I have never looked into them, but I know of them. I recognize them because of the logo. But this is one, $19 a year. Okay. Why pay more? Memberships is just $19 a year. So I'm gonna have to look into that. And stuff. I have to look into that, you know. But yeah, so the topic that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I want y'all to chime in on this, okay? I want y'all to chime in. Oh, my man Misael said that's the best one. So he said this is the best one. All right, this is the best one. So I wanted to. Now the topic says, let me make sure I pull it up so I can see it. How important are the documents we notarize? And okay, well, if my man says it, if he says it, then I got to look into it. Okay. So, how important are the documents we notarize? To be honest, they're very important. They're very, very important to the person who's getting them notarized. That's who the documents are important to. They're important to the person that that presents them to us that needs them notarized. That's how important they are. We can't determine or deem them to be this important or this important. It all depends on how it is. And that's what it says with the NNA. They even say it in their thing about what a notary public is. We notarize signatures on important documents. What makes a document important? It's up to that person. Now, some people, and the reason why I came up with this, and let me just be honest with y'all, I was in a clubhouse earlier this week on Thursday, and one of the persons in there, I made a statement about notaries stop going around here being operating in fear. Okay, stop operating in fear, and we're gonna talk a little bit about fear versus nervousness too. I'm gonna try to do that real quick, but I was saying we need to stop doing stuff in fear. There's a segment of notaries out here, men, women, black, white, young, old, that has this ideology of do it fearfully, or go out in fear and do it, or go do it scared. And I think people don't realize that there's a difference. You can be nervous and go do something, but if you're operating in fear, that's a different thing. And the thing that people say is that they're fearful because the documents are important. Well, see, my question is this: how important are these documents? That follow the process now, and feel free to chime in with any questions. The process is this: today is Friday, you get a phone call or a text or email that says, hey, next Wednesday, we're going to have a closing and we'd like you to do it. You say, I'm available. They said, no problem. We're going to pay you $200. You say, great. Boom. From that point to at least 2-3 hours before the appointment, you hear nothing from the customer, from the people who are paying you. They don't talk to you about it. Nothing. The title company don't call you and give you any 411 on the situation. All they know is Griff is going on May the 8th, I think it is, May the 8th at 4:00, meeting with the Joneses. 3 hours before, you get the documents. Matter of fact, you get them an hour before, whatever the case may be. You called the customer and told them, hey, I'm coming to meet with you. They said, cool. Nobody has talked to you. Nobody has shared anything with you. Nobody has allowed you to even get a glimpse of these documents prior to you meeting with the signers. And people talking about, well, these documents are important. If they're so important, then why is it that when we have a question, nobody can pick up the daggone phone? If they're so important, why is it that the customer is sitting there saying, well, nobody showed me anything or talked to me about anything? So if the documents are so important, why would you risk having a brand new notary who's just starting out put in a situation where they have to try to explain stuff to them or guide them through to make sure that they understand what they are signing? If the documents were that important to the people who created them, to me, they should make sure that the person who's supposed to sign them should be well aware of what they're doing. But what has happened is that the notaries have been, in my opinion, to some degree, conned into believing that it's their responsibility because the documents are important, and it's your responsibility as a notary to make sure that you help them understand the documents. But remember, today you got assigned for next Wednesday, and no one has talked to you about anything in this process from today until next week. Even on the day of, nobody sends you a reminder or maybe SnapDocs or Signer. They might send SnapDocs to send you an automatic reminder. Well, hey, you got an hour before. Hey, in an hour, you got this here. But nobody says, and then if the documents are late, you like Tuesday night or Wednesday night, you're like, hey, where's the documents? We don't know. Let me make sure I got my dates right. Next Thursday. So the 8th is next Thursday. My bad. So on Wednesday, you're like, hey, where's the documents? Nobody seems to know. And all they tell you is just be patient. Don't matter of fact, in our policy there, in our thing that you signed, we said that we'll get the documents within 2 hours prior to the closing. 2 hours. So, and now you're supposed to be responsible. How important are these documents? See, when you talk about, well, I'm nervous about doing this thing as a notary because these documents are important. They're important to you, but apparently they're not important to anyone else. Because when people do finally call them and they talk to a loan officer or a title officer or an escrow officer, sometimes they're like, hey, don't worry about it. Just sign the document. We'll deal with it later. So we're being told what's going on, but man, right? You said that's not our job. You have some random notary that you picked out of a pool of 15, 20 notaries, and you said, got them. And that person is supposed to just be able to pop lock and we have been bamboozled, run amok, thrown on Plymouth Rock thrown on us, or whatever you want to call it, to believe that it's our responsibility to make sure that the deal that these people put together happens. It's our responsibility to make sure that what the state has commissioned us to do gets done. So you're talking about the documents are important. They're important to everybody. What's important to me is that you are who you say you are. You have proper ID. I watch you sign it. I do the notarizations properly. And then I send them back. Because if you ain't talking to me, and let's just say you get the order for 2 weeks out. So for 2 weeks, nobody's talking to me. For 2 weeks, nobody's checking on me. For 2 weeks, nobody's giving me a preview of what the documents could look like. No one. For 2 weeks. How important is this to the people, to anybody? And then notaries are sitting up here nervous, stressing, frustrated. Because you say, well, these important documents, I need to know everything about them. I need to know everything about all of this. I need to know everything about all of this. And you're freaking out. And then when you call them, nobody won't answer the phone. And then if you make a decision and you do something, and they go, well, why you didn't? Well, you didn't pick up the phone. Well, why did you leave? We're not paying you. What's more important is to not pay us than to make sure that we understand the documents. Nobody puts forth any effort prior to us getting the documents to make sure we understand the documents. All this technology, ain't nobody out there got a website. And I'm not talking about all the notary classes and sitting on Zoom. I ain't got time for all that. But why we can't have somebody just do a video and just say, here's this document. Here's a VA loan from us with Boston National Title and Rocket Mortgage. And the way their documents are laid out is boom, 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 boom. Simple video, boom, you do it. Here's how Old Republic operates. When you do an Old Republic file, the boom, the boom, the boom, the boom. Nobody does that. With all this daggone technology, you got all these pages of instructions when you can just make a video. You can make an easy video that's out there infinitum and then update it when necessary. And that can prep the notary and get them prepared. But nobody wants to do that. You can create it and have it in the portal. It doesn't have to be on YouTube. It can be in a portal. But that's not what's happening. And notaries are scared and stressing and panicking because they're like, well, these are important documents. So I'm scared. So I got to be a little nervous about it. No, you don't. And see, here's the thing about fear versus nervousness. And let me see. I did, I don't know if it's still, I hope I got it. A lot of times when you're fearful of something, it is because you have not been properly educated or you don't have the proper education. You don't have the proper education concerning the subject. So when you don't know what you need to know, fear sets in. When you're not prepared, fear sets in. Now, when you know what to do, you might be a little nervous about it because this is your first time, your 10th time. You might be going into a different neighborhood. You might be a little nervous concerning it, but you're not fearful. There's a difference. And too many times people talk about operating in fear rather than operating with confidence. And yes, there's a little nervousness there, but you don't have to be fearful. You see what I'm saying? So let's do something real quick here. And feel free to drop any questions in the chat. So explain in one paragraph what is being fearful. Fearfulness is an emotional state characterized by anxiety, apprehension, and dread, often triggered by perceived threats, dangers, and uncertainty. It arises as a natural survival response, preparing the body to react to potential harm through heightened alertness and physical changes, psychological changes, and increased heart rate. Fear can be rooted in real or imagined scenarios, ranging from immediate physical threats to long term worries. While this serves as a protective mechanism, excessive or irrational fear can become debilitating, leading to avoidance behaviors and chronic stress. Some of y'all are dealing with that. Some of y'all are truly, truly dealing with that within the notary business because you have you have, as they say, false evidence appearing real. You have information in your head that's been given to you by people to say that you're going to jail, that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, all these bad things are going to happen, and you're freaking out. So my thing is this: if you're taking training, and the training should prepare you so that you don't have to operate in fear. But if you're taking training, irregardless of the dollar amount, and you're still fearful, there's a problem there. And either there's something that's inherently wrong with you, or it's something that's lacking with the training. But the training is supposed to make you confident that you can go handle what you need to handle. When you have people go into boot camp, when you have people out there in training, they're supposed to come out of boot camp ready to go to war, ready to defend the country. That's what boot camp is about: removing any anxiety and building your confidence, it's basically tearing you down and then building you back up so that you can be a fighting machine. They're just tearing people down sometimes with this here training. They're just making you feel bad. And what they're tearing you down about, let me come here. What they're tearing you down about is the fact that you're not making as much money as them. They're not tearing you down over anything for real. They just like making you feel bad that you're not making as much money as them. That's where the problem comes in. So let me do this here. Explain. How did I put the question? Explain in one paragraph the paragraph what it means to be nervous. So it says here, being nervous is a temporary state of unease, anxiety, apprehension, often triggered by anticipation of an uncertain or stressful situation, such as public speaking or an important exam or social encounter. It manifests through physical symptoms, sweating, trembling, all of that. Nervousness is a common human response to perceived challenges or threats, serving as a heightened state of alertness, but is typically subside once the situation passes or confidence is regained. While mild nervousness can enhance focus, excessive nervousness may hinder performance and well-being. So, clicked on the wrong button. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is simply this. And I've done videos about being fearful. I've done videos about people who made you scared. You can't really operate in life being fearful. Okay? Let me ask you this here. Explain in, maybe I say 2 paragraphs. 2 paragraphs. The difference between being fearful and nervous. Okay. So basically, what it's saying here, and I like this, on one other hand, so fear tends to be more overwhelming and can be linked to a deep seated anxiety or phobias, often lingering until the perceived threat is removed or resolved. So if you're being trained, the training is supposed to help remove the perceived threat or help give you resolution to it. And that's not happening for a lot of you. And nervousness, on the other hand, is milder and more temporary form of anxiety that arises in anticipation of stressful but non-life-threatening situations, again, such as giving speech, meeting new people, or facing an exam. While it also involves physical symptoms like sweating, this, that, and the other, it's usually short-lived and fade once the event begins or concludes. And see, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. If you've been properly trained, the fear of doing a loan closing, the fear of doing a proper notarization should really be gone and removed. When you get your first order, you may be nervous until you get in there and you rely back and you fall back and you execute what you've been trained to do. Once you've been properly trained, then when you start doing the act, it's like, oh man, I'm good. The problem is you get in there to start doing the acting, you start realizing there's a lot of gaps here. There's a lot of missing pieces, and you can't really make anything happen, or you don't know how to make anything happen. So then you really start panicking and freaking out. And then this is where you start making mistakes because you haven't been properly trained. So if you've been trained, the fear of doing the item should be gone, or at least you should have some confidence to know that, okay, there's at least a 50-50 chance that I can get this right. Okay, I might still be, but I'm more confident because I really do know what I'm going to do or what to do. But there's nothing wrong with being nervous when you get that first call, that first opportunity. And when you start doing it, boom. So my thing is this: if you're not doing this, if you've been in this notary business for a while and you're actually not doing closings or any kind of notarization, general notary, whatever, apostille, my question to you is this: is it because you're super nervous, or is it because you're fearful? And is it really because I'm fearful because I have a lack of knowledge to actually execute what I'm supposed to do? I really don't have the confidence that I can do what I'm supposed to do as a notary. Because from my experience in talking to a lot of y'all, a lot of people are confident in how to explain the documents, but they're not confident in how to do the notarization. Or they might be confident in doing the notarization, but they're freaking out because they can't ascertain and recall all of that information that they had in the training concerning these individual documents, especially when the documents that you have don't match anything from your training. So when you see something, a document, and you start trying to do what they told you, which is read through, guide, and direct, and point them and this, that, and the other, and you're like, well, this doesn't match the document that I practice on. Now you crash it and burn it. So this is why I'm saying you can't live your life in fear. Now, let me say this here real quick. For many of you who have a spiritual belief system, I can't think of any spiritual belief system out here, irregardless of whether you agree with the belief system or not. I can't think of one spiritual belief system that even remotely supports you being a person who operates in fear. And many people out here have a belief system of some sort. So it doesn't make sense to me that you have a belief system of a higher being. You follow certain spiritual texts and guidelines, but yet you go to do this business and you talk about being fearful. That is a huge contradiction. And then you teach other people to operate in fear. Huge contradiction. I can't think whether Islam, Judaism, Christianity, all the different facets of Christianity, all the different facets of Judaism. I can't think of anything. Even if you go back to the Jim Jones, the David Koresh, them folk, the Branch Davidian folk, them folk weren't scared of nothing. And they had the FBI and the ATF coming at them. So I'm sitting here like, okay, so you have somebody who survived that, and they're like, well, I'm a little nervous about doing a notary. Bless their souls who lost their lives in those two incidents. The point that I'm making is that many of you have a spiritual belief system. And to me, it don't make a bit of sense for you to have some kind of spiritual belief system. And then you talk about fear in this business. You talk about doing this business scared. Can you be nervous? Yes. Can you have apprehension? Yes. Because you get presented with something. But when you get presented with it and you see it and you're like, oh, I know what to do. I got for new phones. I had to relearn a thing and how to make them do what I needed them to do. You get a new laptop. But you know what? There are people on this earth that won't change anything, that won't go and get new equipment, this, that, or the other, because they're scared. And the word is scared. They're scared, fearful that they might have to learn something new. Now the question is there a problem with you? Because now you're being stubborn. You're being you're restricting yourself from growth. And see, you can't grow when you're fearful. How can you really grow when you're fearful? How can you move forward? Your kid comes to you saying, I'm scared to go to sleep. That hurts the kid because the kid can't get the proper rest. I'm scared to go to sleep. What do? You say, okay, what are you scared of? Well, I think something's under the bed. Well, what do you do as a TMC trainer, mentor, coach of that kid's life at that point in time? You go in there and you slide up and you ain't nothing under here. And some parents, you know what they do? They'll do one of these things here. They'll go and get something like, oh, I got it. It's gone. And they'll let the kid know, yep, it's gone forever. It'll never come back. You do something to give that kid confidence so that they can sleep and they can rest assured that, okay, I might be a little nervous, but I know my mom got me. I know my dad got me. And we do that all the time. What's going on, Mark? And what's going on, Oswald? I see you in there. What's up, Frank? Fear of meeting total stranger is a roadblock that brings anxiety out of. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Good evening to you there, my man. Good evening to you. And my man James here. But that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Diametrically or whatever, I oppose this whole attitude of fear. I've given the story. Yeah, I was nervous when I first went and did a closing, but I wasn't fearful. I was just nervous. Because I did understand what I needed to do at bare minimum. My question is, if you're sitting up here at any point in time talking about you're fearful, you're scared, what the heck are you doing about it? And I told people, and I mean this, don't call me talking about I'm scared about doing this business. I'm going to hang up on you because I don't do scared. It's just that simple. And I've told people, and I've hung up on them. And you can think I'm mean or this, that, and the other. But honestly, because the fear is within you, I can't remove fear out of you. You have to choose to not be fearful. And even if you are getting the proper education, training, and understanding of the document, and everything is laid out, you still got to choose to accept the information so that that information can be permeate. I think the proper word, permeate in your heart and your mind, and remove the fear out of there. It should be just like if this water bottle has some dishwashing liquid soap in there, and it has some soap suds. You can just pour it and dump it. Ooh, I'm glad the cap was on there. You can just pour it and try to dump it out, and guess what? There'll still be residue of soap suds in there. Then when you put more water in there, it gets soapy again. But how do you get it out? You just pour water in there constantly, and you just let it keep filling until all of the soap suds are out. That's what you got to do for your heart and your mind. You got to pour the right stuff in there over and over and over again to get it out. People should not be making you feel scared, should not be making you feel bad about whether you're making money in this business or not. You'll make the money if you stop being scared. But if everything that they're teaching you, everything that they're centering this business on is about how much money you can make and how much money you're not making, that right there adds to the anxiety. And it constantly makes you feel like you're going to fail or you are a failure because you're comparing yourself constantly to them. And that's why I'm so hard on this, these TMCs. That's why I don't agree with all of this, having notary databases and then posting up there who I'm not certified by and all of that stuff when that certification means crap. It don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It's a course to help you make six figures. Okay, cool. That's nice. But do I really need, what are you teaching me to help me to do my job as a notary? Because if I know how to do my job as a notary and I'm real good at marketing and I'm real good at talking and helping people and figuring out things, then I don't need that course. All I need to know is how to do my job properly and understand my laws about what I should and shouldn't be doing as a notary. And if what you're teaching me isn't going to help me in that regard, then I don't need it. I don't need it because the more money you spend, the more you want to make. And if I'm going to spend that kind of money on that course, then guess what? I want to make money so I can recoup that cost. And nobody is showing me that everyday notary or notary every day is even remotely going to ensure or do anything to help us make at least $150 per signing. Because that's what the standard is, right? 150. So why be on signing order and get 75 and go to another platform and get the same 75? I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you market yourself to say that we at the top 1% of notaries, then pay me like the top 1%. And if you're saying the only way I can be considered the top 1% is to take so-and-so's training course, then you got to prove to me that, one, I'm going to be making the money. Two, that it's even worth that it's going to teach me something that really is going to put me in the top 1%. And what is the definition or the criteria to be in the top 1%? See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all got to stop chasing the money and really start asking the questions so that you can determine whether or not what they're saying is prohibiting you from making money and just got you spending money on them. You get what I'm saying? So, say any course suggests a certain financial outcome, you know right away it's a scam. Yeah. I challenged them, Grill. I'm proud of myself. Way to go. Hey, what's going on, lady? So any questions? I wasn't going to be up here long tonight. Any questions concerning anything with the notary business? I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm just sharing my heart and my mind and my thoughts about the stuff that people are saying out here. And people are making all of these statements about being fearful and all of that. And I'm scared and everything. And I'm like, and I'm trying to figure out Why? Why are we scared? Why? What is there to be scared of? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is there to be scared of? I'm trying to find something for y'all. It was a video that I did concerning fear. And I do not see it. Where is my fear video? I'll find it. I'll find it later. But like this one video I did here to show y'all. This one here, um, this one here is about, I did a video business, and I just hold on, what you say? Said Greg, many times trainers that know that a motivating element, they leverage it by making it seem like everyone has the equal ability of making a potential. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And see what y'all don't realize, a lot of the people that are out here, they got a background in marketing. They know how to market and to get you hooked. They know how. They honestly know how. So they're doing what they're trained to do. But you have to start asking questions. You have to be mindful of what's being going on and stop just laying around like a sheep, as they say, a sheep going to the slaughter, and be more like a bull and demand accountability. You need to demand accountability from these people, because if you don't, they're going to take advantage of you. And that's what I'm trying to help y'all to prevent. Yeah, we got the next 60-day challenge to shake fears and nerves. All I can say is, if anybody's been doing this business consistently for about 2 or 3 years, and you have not come to a way of being able to overcome your fear, and you're still very apprehensive because you're basing your whole notary business and how you approach it, well, these documents are important. And a lot of people have told me this. These documents are important. So because they're important, we got to be real careful. That's what you should be anyway. See, if they was that important and you were that concerned, then why are you charging $400 for one signature? Why are you charging somebody for a power of attorney, one signature being notarized, two witnesses and their signatures don't need to be notarized, and you're charging somebody $400 and you can only charge them $10 for a notarization and $20 and maybe 10 or whatever for a travel fee? And how do you come up with $400? If the stuff was that important, the people who created it would make sure that the people who need to sign it understand it before the notary gets there. To wait till I get there and then say, oh, by the way, you need to make sure they understand what they're doing and all of that. It said, Griff, it might be a personal thing. Notary work might not be the only thing that they're fearful about. True. And I agree. And thank you for saying that, because I did meant to mention that. Because there are people out here who just got that nervous, as they say, nervous nanny and that fearful Fredism in them. So again, you're bringing who you are over here into this business, and then you want to be a TMC, and you want to train people, and you want to teach people, and you want to speak. And this is to any and everybody. This is not just to that person who was in the clubhouse. So this is not directed at them, because I've been dealing with this for years. How in the world? And see, you're scared. There's people who quit being a notary and went to training because they can't handle going into an office, into somebody's home. So how can you actually train somebody When you are afraid to go into their home, you are afraid to interact with people. How can you train and help another person out with that? You get what I'm saying? How can you be a source of support when you couldn't overcome your own fear, but you're telling somebody or trying to help them, tell them how to overcome their fear? That doesn't make sense to me. You scared to get married, but then you're going to see, I'm going to help you and I'm going to show you how to get married. But you said you're fearful, you scared. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to confront the boss, but then you're going to tell me how to confront the boss. You're afraid to ask for a raise, but then you're going to tell me how to, the 17 steps of asking for a raise. Why can't you do it? That's a problem there. And these people end up being out here, these little teachers and stuff. You say, ask me, truthful, I am looking to spend the training, but it will be a process serving, require government to take the loan signing certs. All right, legit as a cert for pooping, scooping poop. Yeah. They've turned it into this and say, I find it hard to believe that people would take these unnecessary courses, pay thousands of dollars instead of taking a certificate course from a college for less, which looks great on a resume. Yeah, you're right. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all tonight. Stop being scared. And those of you who talk in this fear talk, please address the fear and concern and decide whether or not it's really just being nervous, which is understandable. But take time out and define the word fear. Actually look up what fear is. What does it mean to be to be afraid? And ask yourself, is that really something that a business owner can have? Because again, in your own family life, you don't even allow your kids to operate in fear. You want them to be brave and bold, but then you're talking about how scared you are of a notary stamp. This is what you're literally saying. That you are afraid of a stamp and a piece of paper. You are afraid of putting this to that. That this and that coming together scares you. Why? Because somebody told you these are real important papers. And here's the thing. Okay, and I'm glad I caught this. And thank y'all for being on here right now with this point. And I might have said it and probably forgot to elaborate. If they were so important, again, why aren't the people who have deemed these papers that important ensuring that we know exactly what we're supposed to do? Even if it is, okay, you explain the documents and guide them through step by step. Who is actually training us properly to do that for all the different documents that are out there? Because there's over 20-some thousand different variations of these documents. Who has put together a database to where we can just go, let me pay $15 a month or $30 a month, and I can just look. I don't feel like sitting in a Zoom with y'all all day long and bragging about all the money you made and all this, that, and I don't care about that. Give me the heart and the meat of what I need to know so that I can move forward. But if it was that important, then you should never pick a brand new notary. You should never pick a newbie notary, as they say. You should never pick one, because if the documents were that important, you would never put a new notary in a position without ensuring that they know what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? So I'm out. I got to hop on this call with some folk. And I appreciate y'all as always. Thank you for tuning in. And go out there and be great. Don't give up. Don't give up. And as always, Griff is here to help you out. The link is in the description if you want to do a one-on-one meeting with me. If you do have, the only reason why you should call me if you're dealing with fear is if you're ready to get rid of it. If you're not ready to get rid of it, meaning you get rid of it, and I give you some guidance with that, or maybe trying some encouragement, But if you aren't ready to get rid of it, you looking for me to just say, hey, fear be gone? Nah. But if you're ready to go forth and put forth the effort to get that fear out of you so you can do this business or do whatever it is you need to do in life, I'll be more than happy to help you. But if you're just looking for me to just give you the 10-step answers, no, I'm going to hang up on you. It's just that simple. That's how I roll. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.